and we got a very special episode here for you today. This is State of the Trek. I'm going to introduce all-around Star Trek and comic and movie wonderful fan Jaimel Hemphill in just a moment, but I want to welcome you to 2021's State of the Trek. We are a mere 42 years before our first warp flight attracts the Vulcans. So, Jaimel, where are we? What is the state of the Trek?
I am proud to say that the state of the Trek is strong. There's a loud contingent, I'm sure, of people who are old men shaking their fists at the clouds. But the fact of the matter is, in 2020, after going through a pandemic, I think the world is realizing that the edgelord, gritty, grid mark, let's deconstruct everything, time is over, and we need some hope. And I think in 2020, we got the Trekkiest Trek we've got since the original series.
Fantastic.
And I'm so excited about where Trek is going. It's good old-fashioned hope and do good. It's the stuff we got from Trek this year, aside from maybe Picard. That's not saying it's not good, but just saying that was a little more grid mark. Any of you or any of the fans out there have watched Superman and Lois, and you compare that to Man of Steel, that's what the Trek that we have now is compared to something like Deep Space Nine. Even though, just want to point out, if you go back and watch the Deep Space Nine episode, Future Tense, it's insanely prescient because they come to a San Francisco which the rich have cordoned off all the poor into poor zones. And
Don't do it, Rich. No.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty on the nose for 2020. It's pretty sad. I think they went back to the year 2022. It was pretty. Man. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary accurate. Scary accurate.
We're right on top of it. All right, so let me ask you this. We're pushing this solid state of the Trek on what current season are we in Discovery?
Right. We are. We just completed season 3.
Completed. I didn't know that. I heard it was underway.
Yes. We completed season 3, and we are eagerly awaiting season 4. We have completed season 1 of Lower Decks. We have completed season 1 of Picard, and now I think we are waiting for season 2 of Picard, season 3 of Discovery, season 1 of Strange New Worlds, and I think the other one is Prodigy, which is another cartoon. Don't know if that will be for me. That's definitely like Star Trek the Animated Series redo. Kush, you're waving your hand. You want?
But Producer Kush Hayes, a really quick question. There seems to be different timelines. Where is Discovery as opposed to where is Picard?
Okay, so there's only one timeline. I don't know if I'm one of the minority or the majority, but I did not enjoy J.J. Abrams' version.
Why would he do this? He broke the wheel. He broke the light. Yeah. Once you break the light, I mean that's a problem. I'm
convinced J.J. Abrams wanted to make Star Wars and they wouldn't let him. So the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies are basically his application to make a Star Wars movie.
And then he was so mad they made him wait. He broke some Star Wars movies. That was his revenge.
Yes. I mean,
just going back to the common fan that maybe isn't up to date, is Discovery before Captain Kirk?
Yes.
Is it the same time as Picard?
Yes. So the timeline now goes, just to put all the series out there, it goes Enterprise with Scott Bakula as Captain Archer, then Discovery with Captain Spoiler, and then would actually come Strange New Worlds, which is the new show starring one of my favorite actors, Anson Mount, as Christopher Pike in charge of the Enterprise.
Are you excited about Strange New Worlds? I'm looking forward to this one.
Yes.
That sounds exciting, actually.
First off, they're using, as I said before we started recording, they're using a set which is the most... I'm not Kevin Smith. I don't get very emotional watching things I love as much as Kevin Smith. God bless him. He gets really emotional, and I love his passion.
Oh, he does.
But I'm telling you what, there's two things that actually, maybe it's because of the pandemic, but two things made me cry the past year. One was Superman and Lois saying that his mom made his costume.
Oh.
That got me, because it's just so pure, goofy Superman. It's just, thanks, my mom made it for me. That's Superman. And two was the reveal of the Enterprise bridge on Discovery. And the fact that we're going to get an entire show with this beautifully updated bridge that's so faithful to the original, but using all the talent and materials that are available to us now. It's just a beautiful reimagining. Anson Mount looks insanely like the actor who played, and his name is escaping me, but Jeffrey Hunter? Was it Jeffrey Hunter? He looks insanely like the captain the guy who played Captain Pike in the pilot. The actor who's playing Spock, I think, is worthy successor, and I'm looking forward to seeing number one, originally played by Majel Barrett. Roddenberry's original vision was to have a female first officer because he wanted to be progressive, and now we'll finally see that character given some light. That was one of the changes that the studio demanded. They actually wanted Star Trek to be dumbed down, and they didn't feel that a woman should be in command. So Spock got promoted to first officer. Obviously, he did what he could with Sulu and Uhura and everything, and then later on he brought Chekhov. Like, people think Chekhov's a one-off Russian joke, but we have to remember this is the middle of the Cold War, and here he brings a Russian officer in who is an equal and a friend to the rest of the cast. So that's very important to remember too. So Roddenberry did his best, I think, and you can talk about him being kind of Lucas with the fact that he needed better writers and everything, but the fact is the guy had his heart in his right place, and I really wanted to make a progressive show. So anyway, seeing a female commander and finally seeing the character fleshed out, I think that's a great legacy to Majel Barrett and Gene Roddenberry. So
I know we're still just in the middle of explaining the timeline, but in the sense of where we are right now, just in this explanation, the original series, it's still there on digital. It's still there on your VHS and your laser discs.
Yes.
Should we just forget about them though, as far as going forward with Discovery 4 and the Stranger Worlds? No,
they're all canon. They're all canon. So it's just that the Kirk part of the timeline is just really crowded. And I think that comes with like the fandom just wanting that nostalgia. Mm-hmm. So it's really, really crowded because you have Discovery was 10 years before Jim Kirk. So it's the same timeline. They have almost the same technology, but they're just a few years before. Then you have Strange New Worlds, which is the Enterprise that we're used to seeing. It's just before Kirk is assigned to the Enterprise, before its 5-year mission. And now...
Is Strange New Worlds, are they going to follow a closer, like, Mystery of the Week kind of format, do you think?
I think that's the plan. Like
it's going to be
super serialized. Yeah, I think Discovery is super serialized, but at the same time, Discovery is only 13 episodes a season.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you kind of have to tell one long story. What I'm worried about is we're going to get a Strange New Worlds that's a lot like the old Star Trek, but it's not going to be 20-something episodes a season, so the characters are all two-dimensional. Right. So I think you can't have both. If you only get 13 hours or, give or take, right, because it's 45 minutes an episode, so 11 hours with these characters, you kind of have to come up with one narrative. If you keep pressing the reset button every week where it's new planet, figure out something, solve the problem, go, what's going to happen is no one's going to get to know these characters. And then the same people who are complaining that they wanted don't want the DS9 serialized story, they're going to complain that none of the characters are fleshed out. They're complaining about that on Discovery, and it's pretty much all a drama, right? So you can't please these people. So
yeah, well, especially for Discovery trying to break into new formats of storytelling, because I mean, you go to DS9, your Voyager, and then even they pushed Enterprise towards that too, and it becomes a copy of a copy of a copy. Yeah. However, this is, I mean, what attracted me to Strange New Worlds in a stupid way for myself is that growing up in the age of Next Generation and just having that be part of my life and loving it so much, it was like, it's analogous to like becoming a dad, and I'm still stuck in classic rock, and I can't accept that, like, well, the music has got changed, but you're like, but I like the thing. And then so when something shiny comes along like the Orville, it's like, I'll go listen to a cover band. That's cool. No, it's like, I want give me the hits. And so seeing it again, I'm afraid where it's like, look, I'm reading just like there was a Screen Rant where it's like, look at all these 500 Easter eggs they've thrown in there. And I'm like, man, they're covering a lot of territory here. And it's definitely a different modality, but it's like, I want to dip a toe, but I'm also like, they're doing a fan servicey show where they're like, all right, we'll bring you all back. Here's the set. You know what I mean? Like,
we'll see what happens. I mean, here's the thing. The only Star Trek series that has had a good first season is probably the first one. Like no one's good the first season. I think people really like. Obviously, there's a segment of the populace that doesn't want to see diversity. It is what it is. So I think they got really loud when they saw Discovery and saw how much diversity is on there, because the representation for the LGBTQ community in Discovery is somewhat akin to seeing Avery Brooks as the first Black captain.
Oh, totally. Well, also,
You know,
I mean,
it's
very prescient that you say the Star Trek, just the very first one, because like it just crushed in the people were all about it. That like it spoke to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, speaking of which, the different modes of storytelling and exploring, like, well, there's, you know what I mean? Like this type, outside of just the day-to-day, like it's a short story philosophical, it is the, well, you know, what if the Federation has done bad, or how are we dealing with this? Or like in war, how do we deal with war crimes? When also in these trying times and politically, I'm clinging to that vision of like, we all wear these flowy robes around future San Francisco, and there's a replicator. It's all, we can wand heal you. Like it's all good. We're all on the same team. And so again, that too, like I put them on in the background sometimes to fall asleep, because it's like, it's okay. A diverse team of people will come and they'll talk it out and we'll solve it. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, please.
It's there. And like Discovery, I think Discovery, unlike a lot of other shows, Discovery has suffered from having different showrunners almost every season.
Right.
So you had the first season, which is like, no, we're going to do the cost of war, and it looked like it was going to be a war story, and it didn't necessarily play nice with Captain Kirk's. It didn't necessarily do it. Like it was like, oh, the Klingons look like they are in STNG. We're going to ignore, like, you know, I think they could have done a lot for fan goodwill if they made it look like the original series Klingons. I know it would look weird. I know you have to only get certain actors because otherwise it's going to be blackface. But the fact that Enterprise went out of its way to explain why, you know, there was a difference, and then you just ignore that, I think that was a bad choice on the showrunners. Season 2 was like a greatest hits. It gave everybody the nostalgia, but then everybody got mad still because they wanted to hate it. Season 3, I don't know how far to go with you because it's a huge spoiler, but season 3 changes settings. And the setting removes it from any worries about canon. I'll say it that way. It truly goes where no one's gone before. So Discovery is now not beholden to any show before it. It is still in the same timeline. It's still, and as a matter of fact, now Discovery has to worry about honoring ramifications from Picard and Deep Space Nine and all that. So they actually tie back. One of the best episodes of season 3 actually ties into a Next Generation episode.
Oh, okay.
That's very popular. So it's really good. Season 3 was all about hope. It was all about, you know, what the Federation means. It's the natural progression of a certain character's arc that we all knew was going to happen in the first season. And I really think Discovery has hit that sweet spot that Next Generation hit, Deep Space Nine hit, even Enterprise. It only got one season after it, but that third season sweet spot is where everything gets really like the best of the show. If you tell me what's the best of Deep Space Nine, what's the best of Next Generation, your favorite episodes probably came within the third season and forward. Deep Space Nine breaks the mold in that it was really good, but still, the weakest episodes of Deep Space Nine are all in the first season. For every duet, there was Move Along Home. So, you know, like there's a balance. But for most, even Voyager, I would say, it doesn't really hit the ground running. Like people who love Voyager are usually thinking about 7 and 9. That was season 4. You know, that's the most popular character that when 7 and 9 came in. So I think we're finally getting to that point where Discovery is hitting that sweet spot where it's going to be not just good, but great.
Fantastic. All right. Well, you're making such a strong case there. God, I feel like I got a good refresher on the state of the Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, they're running down so many series, and I'm reading about, I mean, other proposed ones like Section 31 that looks I like the rumors on there. But listen, I mean, so much is popping up. Like, is anything percolated into your mind? Like, what should be made into a series? Like, what's, you know, top of mind?
If it wasn't for Michelle Yeoh, I would disagree with Section 31. I think Section 31 has become like the mirror universe where you can't make them the protagonists. You can't see too deep into them because they're supposed to be literally a mirror holding up. Like Section 31, you can't make them the good guys. You can't root for them because they're the antithesis of what Star Trek or what the Federation stands for. So I honestly, I would love to see Michelle Yeoh. And besides Michelle Yeoh's character, you know, I'm just going to spoil it because it's not a major plot line. But the fact
she's a secret Hitler.
Yes, she's her mirror counterpart. So it's like, no, she's a mass murderer, man. There's no coming back from that. Like if it was the actual Giorgio who we meet in the Discovery premiere, yeah, okay, she's a good, like it'd be like Bashir. If they gave Bashir a spinoff where he had to work for Section 31 or O'Brien, okay, that makes sense.
Sure.
Because now we see how a Federation person deals with this. But Giorgio, she's evil. Like you don't come back from murdering people. You don't come back from cannibalism. She ate Saru. Like, like you don't.
And they're cool with her. They're like, yeah, sure. I mean, necessary evils. Yeah.
And like that's probably, if you maybe nitpick, that's probably the only complaint I have about like the current season of Discovery is because she comes along for the ride in season 3, and it's like, yeah, why are you cool with her? Like,
it's fine. Look, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like 2 episode seasons, you might have been able to pull it off. But there is no way you go from Space Hitler to cuddly curmudgeon. You know what I mean?
There was a couple like trust building episodes or like, you know, enemy of my enemy.
No reason to believe like her reasoning for coming along. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make I think what happened is like they got into third season. They're like, yeah, everybody loves Michelle Yeoh, but that was a bad decision to bring this character. I think they realized they kind of screwed up. Or maybe they intended to kill her all right off the bat, but I think they screwed up bringing her mirror counterpart in because then she's so popular they don't know what to do with her. They know they got to keep her around because everybody wants to see Michelle Yeoh. Yeah, so it's like, but no, she's a mass murderer. Yes.
What exactly is Section 31? Like I've heard that in multiple references outside of the 5 I just heard just now. But what exactly is 31?
31 is the CIA of the Federation. They have an unlimited budget, and they are willing to do the wet work that takes to keep the Federation safe. So they are willing to compromise their morals. They will do anything to protect the Federation. They are introduced in Deep Space Nine, in which they literally do a triple cross assassination on the Romulans. You know, it was one of the best episodes. You know, it's one of the best episodes of Deep Space Nine, but it was there as saying, oh, there's a dark underbelly. And really, they leave it as Cisco's like, oh, I'm going to bring them down. We're going to keep studying them. And they bring them back like maybe once more in Deep Space Nine, where they've compromised the Doctor and they keep getting him to do their dirty work because they have intel on him because the Doctor is genetically enhanced like Khan. And that's illegal in the Federation. So they're like, yeah, we'll ruin your life. We'll tell everyone, and we'll put your parents in jail if you don't work for us. Yeah, it's really dark. It's really dark for Star Trek. It's really dark, but it was there to show that Cisco and Bashir, they'll do what it takes to keep the Federation safe, but they won't cross certain lines. So it's basically show how it's one of those things where you take a bright character and put them in the middle of darkness to show how bright they shine. Whereas then they started bringing them into the Enterprise, and they brought them into Discovery, and it was more of, look how cool they are. They're the Hawk to Spencer for hire. You know, it's like they're just the cool sidekicks, and it's like, no, they're bad. They're really, really dirty, and like they don't need a show. I think the one show that's missing is Starfleet Academy. And I think if you wanted to do a young hip show, I think in the mid 2000s, I actually thought Starfleet Academy should have been made instead of Enterprise.
That would have been great.
That sounds like such a Fox 90s series.
Yeah, I think if you had made Star Trek Academy and put it on, it would have ran a full 7 seasons. And then since they were so bully on taking stuff like Next Generation, went from the show to the movies, Deep Space Nine in a way that you can't make a movie. But what you could have done is you literally could have had Janeway come home, make her admiral. You know, you could have kept Kate Mulgrew, you know, on. She could have been admiral in the Starfleet Academy. And then when they graduate, you have them go through 7-year Starfleet Academy. Then you assign them to a ship. Yeah. And then that ship goes to the movies, and you get like a couple movies out of that, you know? So
they're living on the ground. They're hearing about the exploits. They got to train for things. They're concerned.
And then the movie is them in their first mission. And guess what? You know what you get out of that? You get what J.J. Abrams tried to do, but it makes more sense.
Oh. Yeah,
right?
I mean,
so like I don't know why. There's smarter people than me. Maybe they thought about it and did testing and it didn't work. But it seemed to me like the Academy was the best place to go. You've been to a space station, you've been to ships, you explored the farthest reach of the galaxy, and Deep Space Nine showed that grounding it could, having a set place and bringing people in allows you to do interesting stories. So take that to the next step. And but you wanted lighter bubblegum fare like Voyager. There you go. Combine the best two aspects of the last two shows and set it on Earth. You get to show future Earth.
I'm all into future Earth. I
Yeah.
want to see those futuristic Academy of Art colleges all over the place.
Yes, the entire city of San Francisco would just be nothing but Academy of Art dorms.
It was assimilated.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. The entire thing, like the Golden Gate Bridge, like it just has an Academy of Art logo on it.
They have all their indentured students doing all the art and all the facades and stuff. Yeah,
literally do the grayscale wheel. That's how you pay your rent every month.
What they never tell you is that Federation headquarters is actually the Academy of Art.
Yes.
They
founded. It was the first Federation. Yeah, it's the first Academy. Yeah.
Every ship is made out of recycled car parts from their collection.
Well, the first one was
yeah. That's what the Constitution classes are. They actually started out as the 83 Cutlass class, but they didn't.
Oh, good times. All right.
Yes.
Well, okay.
We're not bitter art students. No.
We have no compunction about funding. I mean, if we funded Starfleet Academy, I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. That is awesome. I would watch that in a heartbeat. But when I look at this roster of things coming out, they're going in different directions. They're even trying to animate it. And I'm like, they're at the point where they're probably, ready to drop not just narratively, but something a little more meta.
Yeah.
And I could go for something called like Star Trek Looking Glass because they own all of the rights to the stuff. I would love episodes of things from the movies and TV shows like a Black Mirror kind of thing. It's 1986, San Francisco. There's a hippie. He's out on the Farallon Islands and he has telemetry and he sees it. A ship hits the water. He has proof. He marches into the mayor's office. He's like, there's a ship. And they lock him up. And he keeps seeing the ship and stuff. Like there's a kid that believes it. Like I want the other side. Like he's walking by, like you can see the backs of the actors' heads. Yeah. But it's just sort of like what, you know what I mean? Like what they're causing in the local little world. I mean, I would love one. Like remember, we're back on the Enterprise, and when Lore makes Data feel something for a second, and he's driven nuts. So he's out on the holodeck, like taking the safety locks off and whatever. This episode is from like the perspective of a security ensign who saw that happen and is like, oh my God. And then, it's like normal. He's getting to meet everybody and he'll turn a corner and then he sees Data just like punching a Jeffries tube door open. And he's like, oh, like he'll get on the elevator with him. And it's like being with the Terminator. Data just looks over like, hello, are you new? He's like, yeah, no, I'm great.
This is why you need to watch Lower Decks.
Oh, dig.
Yeah,
Lego Star Wars did a series doing something like this, where they have just ancillary characters going through the entire series.
I've never played the Lego Star Trek.
No, Lego Star Wars.
Oh, Lego Star Wars. Well, dig.
It's on Disney Plus.
Okay. Oh, it's a show. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's a show where they've got these 4 characters that are spun off like Han Solo and a couple other folks, and they live their lives just in the background. But then all the real world Star Wars shit you saw in the theaters, like the Andor explodes, they're like, uh-oh, this is a bad, like they were just doing something else random, just like, talking about Spaceball or whatever. And then all of a sudden, like, oh no, that planet just exploded. Shit.
I dig. Okay.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah. This is why you got to watch Lower Decks. Lower Decks is pretty much that. It is literally the Lower Deck ensigns. What they are doing. The best part about Lower Decks is that essentially an episode of Star Trek is happening in the background of every episode.
Oh, there you go.
And it's what they're doing. So there is the bridge crew. They are characters. There's like a Bajoran security guy. The captain is Don Lewis from Different World. And so they've got this eclectic group of the doctor is this cat person he's the same cat creature from the original animated series.
Ah,
Remember they had like a security or a red shirt who was a cat woman. There's a cat guy and he's a doctor. And so meanwhile, these 4 ensigns who have just been assigned to the Cerritos, it's called the USS Cerritos. It's about what they go through, while this episode is going on, how they keep everything functioning while it's made by the guys who made Rick and Morty. So the humor is very like boom, 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 gag, 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 right? Sight gag, 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 gag. We're going to tell you jokes while showing you jokes in the background. So it took a while to get used to it because I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of Rick and Morty. I know. Something, it's just not my cup of tea.
Not
so
for
it was,
I get it.
so it took me a while to get used to the humor, but it's quite funny, quite enduring. It makes fun of Star Trek, but it is obviously made by people who love Star Trek. It's great. Like one of them is a red shirt. He gets gravely injured, or one of those things where like, oh no, I'm de-evolving or I've been phased out of time. And so they can't fix it. So you find out there's like a section 32 or something where they send all the people that they can't cure. And it's like full of people who have suffered accidents from random Star Trek episodes. And they're all stuck in like the psych ward. We can't fix you. So you're just going to be made comfortable here for the rest of your life.
Just keep quiet.
Over there. So it's just this other planet in the middle of the Badlands where like they just get stuck and like it's stuff like that. Or they actually brought back villains from other Star Trek episodes that you think are one-off and very weak, and they actually make them super threatening.
Oh,
yeah!
All right, I gotta check this out, man.
Yeah, it's really, really, really fun, and I don't want to spoil too much. The interactions between the characters, but they have certain relationships that pay off, and it's really endearing, really fun. I think if it was live action, I'd say that had the best. Like, it's a really good season of a show. I was surprised with how good it was right off the bat. But I think with it being a cartoon and having a bunch of veteran actors, there's lowered expectations. It's willing to laugh at itself, and I think that's where it goes. So, I mean, if you like the Orville, I think it's funnier than Orville, and I like Orville, but I think Lower Decks is funnier.
Well, Orville's not supposed to be just like funny. Anyway,
yeah.
Well, good. I gotta check that out. I mean, fantastic. I mean, if you have any other things to add, I feel like that was an adequate state of the Trek for 2021.
Yeah, man. Watch you some Trek. Paramount Plus now has everything for our fans in the US, and then outside of the US, I believe everything's on Netflix. So it's worth watching, man. Discovery season 3, whiz bang, just a whole lot of fun. It's going to remind you of one of Gene Roddenberry's other ideas, but they take it in a great direction. Lower Decks.
When does the next series come out?
I believe later this year we'll see in like November we will see Discovery season 4, and then Picard season 2 I think is filming now. So I'm not sure about Lower Decks. And you know what? We never asked this question, so I'm just going to say it. The timeline, as of everything that's been released, goes Enterprise, Strange New Worlds, Star Trek, Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, Picard, Discovery.
There we go.
That is the timeline.
Discovery's after Picard?
Now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good time.
So season 1 and 2 of Discovery before Star Trek. Season 3 of Discovery after Picard.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Jaimel, I mean, thanks for updating us.
Man.
Thank you for being here. All right.
Anytime. Say Trek and I am there, my friend.
Fantastic. All right. We will talk to you again soon, but thanks, everybody. Check out Man Who Fell to Earth, everybody. It gets weird, and it's being remade probably for the way better. Jaimel, anything to plug?
Gosh, I think we got Sweet Science Cinema coming out. It's going to be dope. And then after that, keep it tuned because we're going to do $1 Million Baby. I'm looking forward to reviewing that movie. And head over to NPC Comics, or actually search NPC Comics on comicsology.com. Got some new books coming out. So there you go.
Fantastic. Gosh, well, thanks for joining us on this State of the Trek. We thank Jaimel. If you want to hear some further listenings, check out Kush and Kai episode 16, where he guest stars to come in and we dig into Darkness 2013. There's a lot of Benedict Cumbersnatch fun there. But yeah, again, thanks for joining us. Have a good one.
From the Bosnet family.
Discovery's After Picard?
Now